Imagine walking one day and realizing your legs can't carry you anymore, not because of age, but because of the foods you've been eating for years. Today, I'll reveal 7 everyday foods that could slowly push your legs toward necrosis. You're out for a walk on a bright, sunny afternoon, breathing in the fresh air and enjoying the warmth on your skin, when suddenly you feel an unusual ache in your calves. It's not the regular soreness from exercise, but something deeper, more uncomfortable. You brush it off, thinking maybe you've just been on your feet too long. But what if I told you that some of the foods you've been eating for years could quietly be cutting off the lifeline your legs depend on? Foods that slowly narrow your blood vessels, damage your nerves, and in severe cases can even lead to tissue death. What doctors call necrosis. Necrosis isn't just a complicated medical term. It's what happens when parts of your body stop receiving the blood and oxygen they need to stay alive. In your legs, that can mean severe pain, wounds that refuse to heal, infections that keep getting worse, and in the most frightening cases, amputation. And the most surprising part is that the road to necrosis doesn't usually begin with an injury. More often than not, it starts right in your kitchen. That's why today we're re-exposing 7 everyday foods that may be slowly pushing your legs toward that dangerous edge. Some are so common you might have one sitting in your fridge right now. And before you think, that could never happen to me, remember that the effects of these foods build up over time. Many people feel perfectly fine until the damage is already done. If you want to protect your legs, to keep walking strong and pain-free, you need to stay with me until the very end. While you're here, drop a 1 in the comments if you're serious about protecting your legs, or a 0 if you think they're already in perfect shape. And don't forget to subscribe to Next Gen Health, so you never miss out on tips that could save your life. Let's start with a food that feels like comfort itself, but hides a dangerous secret: bacon. Just the sound of it sizzling in a pan can make your mouth water. That smoky aroma filling the kitchen on a lazy weekend morning is enough to make anyone smile. But as delicious as it is, bacon can quietly set the stage for circulation problems that build up over the years. Each crispy strip is packed with sodium and saturated fat, a dangerous combination. Too much sodium makes your body hold on to extra water, which raises blood pressure. And when blood pressure stays high, your arteries, those fragile tubes carrying life-giving blood, begin to harden and narrow. Add to that the saturated fat in bacon, which tends to stick to artery walls, and over time you're left with plaque buildup that restricts blood flow. Doctors call this peripheral artery disease, and when it strikes the legs, it means less oxygen, less healing power, and a greater risk of damage. This isn't just theory. Research published by the American Heart Association shows that people who eat processed meats like bacon on a regular basis face higher rates of vascular disease. The early signs can show up as cramping in your calves when you walk, feet that feel colder than normal, or tiny cuts on your toes that seem to take forever to heal. If it gets worse, blood flow can become so limited that tissue starts to die. Does this mean you can never enjoy bacon again? Absolutely not. Life is too short for never, but it's smart to make bacon an occasional treat, not a daily habit. If you crave that savory kick, you can try lower sodium turkey bacon, or better yet, swap a few breakfasts for avocado on whole grain toast. You'll still get a satisfying, rich bite, but with heart-healthy fats that keep your blood moving freely. And speaking of salty, fatty favorites, there's another food many of us grew up with, something you'll find at ball games, barbecues, and quick lunches everywhere. Hot dogs. At first glance, they look innocent enough, just sizzling on the grill, waiting for a squiggle of mustard. For many of us, hot dogs are tied to summer memories, picnics, and backyard gatherings. But underneath that nostalgia is a mix of ingredients that quietly work against your arteries, especially those that supply your legs. Hot dogs are processed meats, which means they're filled with preservatives like sodium nitrite. These chemicals help give hot dogs their familiar color and flavor, but inside the body they can form compounds that damage the lining of your arteries. Once those delicate walls are damaged, arteries stiffen and narrow, making it harder for blood to flow freely down to your calves, ankles, and toes. Combine that with their high sodium content, and you've got the same blood pressure raising problem you get with bacon, creating even more strain on your circulatory system. Then comes the fat. Many hot dogs contain trans fats, the worst kind. These not only raise your bad LDL cholesterol, but also lower your good HDL cholesterol. Think of it like canceling the garbage truck while doubling the trash in your neighborhood. It doesn't take long before things get clogged, and when the arteries in your legs are clogged, even walking can become painful, and healing from small cuts or scrapes slows down dramatically. The Harvard School of Public Health has linked regular consumption of processed meats, including hot dogs, with a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. And it's not just about the heart. Your legs rely on healthy circulation just as much. If hot dogs are a family favorite, you don't need to ban them completely. Look for nitrate-free versions, or swap them with grilled chicken sausages that are lower in sodium and higher in lean protein. Pair them with fresh vegetables instead of chips, and your legs will thank you in the long run. And if you think hot dogs are the worst of the bunch, wait until you hear about a crispy, golden comfort food that hides an even nastier surprise for your circulation. French fries. Those golden, crispy sticks of comfort, whether they come from a fast food drive-thru or straight out of the oven at home, fries have a way of making any meal feel more indulgent. But the problem isn't just the potato itself, it's how they usually prepared. Most restaurants and fast food chains reuse their frying oil again and again. As that oil breaks down, it creates trans fats, one of the most dangerous types of fat for your blood vessels. Trans fats don't just raise your bad cholesterol, they also lower your good cholesterol, the kind your body needs to keep arteries clear. That means with every handful of crunchy fries, you're slowly making it harder for blood to reach your legs, depriving your muscles and skin of the oxygen and nutrients they need to stay healthy. And then there's the salt. A medium order of fast food fries can pack more than 250 milligrams of sodium, and let's be honest, most people don't stop at just one order. All that extra sodium drives up blood pressure, which puts even more stress on your arteries. Over time, this combination leads to poorer circulation and raises the risk of peripheral artery disease, where narrowed arteries cause leg pain, numbness, and slower healing. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows that diets high in fried foods are strongly linked to heart disease and circulation problems. And because your legs are at the farthest point of your circulatory system, they're often the first to feel the effects when blood flow gets compromised. Now, does this mean you should never touch fries again? Not at all. Moderation is key. If you make them at home, try baking or air frying with healthy oils like olive or avocado oil. Skip the extra salt and use herbs and spices instead. Rosemary, paprika, or even a little garlic powder can make them just as satisfying without the extra damage. But fries aren't the only comfort food that can quietly drain the life out of your legs. Sometimes the danger isn't salty or greasy at all. Sometimes it's sweet, fizzy, and hiding in plain sight in your refrigerator. Soda, that bubbly, sugary pick-me-up so many of us reach for without a second thought. Maybe it's a can of cola with lunch, a giant cup from the gas station, or a chilled bottle waiting in the fridge. Soda has a way of sneaking into daily routines, but what's inside can quietly harm your legs more than you realize. The main culprit is sugar, and lots of it. A single 12-ounce can often contain 30 to 40 grams of sugar. That's like dumping 8 to 10 teaspoons straight into your bloodstream in just minutes. Repeated spikes like this over time damage the delicate nerves in your legs and feet, a condition known as peripheral neuropathy. Nerve damage can show up as numbness, tingling, burning pain, or even total loss of sensation, making it harder to notice injuries before they become serious. High sugar intake also fuels insulin resistance, a direct path toward type 2 diabetes, one of the biggest risk factors for circulation issues and nerve damage in the legs. And it's not only the sugar. Many sodas are acidic, which irritates and inflames blood vessel walls, making them more vulnerable to narrowing. Less space inside the arteries means less blood flow to the lower limbs, and your legs are the first to feel the shortage. A long-term study published in Diabetologia found that people who drink sugary beverages regularly face a significantly higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes and all the leg health problems that come along with it. So, what's the alternative? Swap soda for sparkling water with a splash of real fruit juice, or try unsweetened iced tea with lemon. You still get the refreshing fizz or flavor, but without the blood sugar roller coaster. Even cutting back from one soda every day to just a few per week can make a huge difference over time. But while soda's sweetness can damage your nerves, there is another everyday food that harms your legs in a quieter but equally dangerous way, by spiking your blood sugar almost as fast, even though it doesn't taste sweet at all. Think about white bread, soft, fluffy, comforting. It's the base for everything from morning toast to turkey sandwiches. But that texture comes from refined flour, which has been stripped of most of its fiber and nutrients. Without fiber to slow digestion, your body breaks it down into glucose almost instantly. The result? Sudden blood sugar spikes. And this isn't just a problem for people with diabetes. It's as tough on everyone. Repeated surges damage the tiny blood vessels that feed your legs and feet. Over time, those vessels lose their ability to deliver oxygen and nutrients, making healing slower and infections more likely. If you already struggle with circulation, white bread can quietly make things worse without you even realizing it. And this isn't just speculation. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that diets high in refined carbohydrates, like white bread, are strongly linked to poor vascular health and higher risks of heart disease. Remember, your legs are at the far end of your circulatory system, which makes them especially vulnerable when blood flow isn't at its best. The tricky part about white bread is that it doesn't even taste sweet, yet it behaves in your body almost like candy. Its high glycemic index triggers insulin spikes, followed by crashes, which push you to crave more refined carbs. The cycle repeats, and your blood vessels take hit after hit. The good news, the solution is simple. Swap out white bread for whole grain or sprouted grain bread. The extra fiber slows down digestion, keeps blood sugar steadier, and reduces the stress on your arteries. It's a small change, but one that your legs and the rest of your body will notice over time. These healthier swaps are packed with fiber that slows sugar absorption, keeps your energy steady, and protects your blood vessels. If you're making toast, adding peanut butter or avocado can turn it into a much more leg-friendly option. But while white bread can slowly weaken circulation, there is another treat that hits your legs from two directions at once. Sugar and fat together, and unfortunately, it's one that's tied to some of life's happiest moments. A scoop after Sunday dinner, a cone on a hot summer afternoon, or a little bowl at night while watching your favorite show. Ice cream isn't just dessert, it's a memory maker. The trouble is that it's also a double strike against your circulation. Its sweetness comes from loads of added sugar, which sends your blood sugar soaring in the same way soda and white bread do. Over time, those repeated spikes damage the tiny blood vessels and nerves in your legs and feet, leading to numbness, tingling, slower healing, and in serious cases, even open sores that refuse to close. For anyone living with diabetes or prediabetes, that damage can happen even faster. Then comes the saturated fat. Ice cream is made with cream and often enriched with extra butterfat for richness. These saturated fats raise LDL cholesterol, the kind that clogs arteries, while lowering HDL cholesterol, the kind that cleans them out. Narrowed arteries in the legs mean less blood can get through, which leaves your muscles tiring quickly, injuries healing slowly, and the risk of peripheral artery disease climbing higher. Research published in the British Journal of Nutrition shows that diets high in both added sugar and saturated fat significantly increase cardiovascular risk. And remember, your legs and your heart are linked by the same network of blood vessels. If it hurts your heart, it hurts your legs too. But does this mean ice cream should disappear forever? Not at all. The key is treating it like the special occasion it was always meant to be. Smaller portions, lighter versions made with lower fat dairy or plant-based milks, or even nice cream made from blended frozen bananas can give you the creamy sweetness without the damage. The point isn't to ban joy, but to enjoy it wisely. And while ice cream tends to be a warm weather indulgence, there's another culprit that lives in freezers all year long. Frozen pizza, the hero of late night cravings, lazy lunches, and I forgot to cook dinners. Just unwrap it, slide it in the oven, and 15 minutes later, dinner is done. The convenience is hard to beat, but the hidden costs to your circulation can be serious. Frozen pizza is a sodium heavyweight. A single personal-sized pie can easily pack more than 1,200 milligrams of sodium, over half of the entire day's recommended limit. That much salt forces blood pressure up, straining and damaging the arteries that carry blood to your legs and feet. And it's not just the salt. Frozen pizza piles on saturated fat from cheese and processed meats, and often trans fats from the crust and toppings. These fats clog your arteries and strip away the good cholesterol your body relies on to keep things clear. The result is narrowing arteries that struggle to deliver oxygen-rich blood to your lower limbs. Pain, fatigue, and slower healing become the new normal. It doesn't stop there. To extend shelf life, many frozen pizzas are loaded with additives and preservatives that can trigger inflammation in the body. Inflammation weakens blood vessels further and disrupts circulation, making problems creep up quietly until one day you realize short walks leave you winded, or your feet feel cold no matter the room temperature. Research in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology has shown that diets high in ultra-processed foods, like frozen pizza, are strongly linked with higher rates of vascular disease. And since your legs depend on the same circulation as your heart, the damage shows up at both ends. Still, Pizza night doesn't have to disappear. Making your own with a whole grain crust, fresh vegetables, and lean protein cuts down on sodium, harmful fats, and additives, while keeping all the cheesy satisfaction intact. The difference for your circulation is huge, and your legs will feel the benefit. So there you have it. 7 foods that may seem harmless, even comforting, but can quietly chip away at your leg health over time. The truth is that every choice at the table ripples down to your toes. Every bite either supports your circulation and keeps your steps strong, or makes it harder for your legs to carry you through the moments that matter most. The good news is you don't have to give up everything you love. Small swaps, a lighter portion here, a smarter option there, can strengthen your blood flow, protect your nerves, and keep you moving freely for years to come. Think of it this way: your legs have carried you through life's journeys, from first dances to family vacations, from playing with kids to walking into new opportunities. They've given you decades of service, and they deserve some care in return. This week, maybe you skip the soda and pour a glass of water with lemon. Maybe you swap white bread for whole grain. Maybe ice cream stays a treat instead of a nightly routine. Each choice is a step toward stronger circulation, more mornings spent walking without pain, more afternoons in the garden, more evenings dancing in the kitchen. Your legs can still take you anywhere you want to go. You just have to give them the fuel they need. If you found this helpful, drop a 1 in the comments, share it with a friend who could use a reminder, and make sure you resubscribed to NextGen Health, so you never miss another tip that could keep your steps strong.